Hello everyone, how's it going today? I hope you guys are having a really awesome day. I'm here today to bring you a Lunalight deck profile. Lunalights, they're one of my favorite rogue decks. They're extremely fun to play. They kind of take people by surprise with how suddenly they can just take the game. They're a very fun deck. They're very cheap to play. I think I made this entire deck for about $20 to $30, which in today's Yu-Gi-Oh, that's pretty cheap compared to an $80 Ash Blossom. That's just ridiculous. But a couple things about this deck. It is an OTK deck, meaning one turn kill deck. It likes to go second because of that. Because the main strategy of this deck is to just basically get like the boss monster out, which is a Leo Dancer, which has 3,500 attack and can attack twice. So getting out as much damage as possible on your first turn and just attacking for game. So let's get started. Let's dive in. So this is very standard. This is what everyone is going to run. 3 Lunalight Kaleido Chick. This card essentially lets you disc or pitch a card from your extra deck or deck to the graveyard, and then this card basically takes on that name. So what you want to do is usually if you have enough cards in hand, you want to summon him, and then you want to ditch your Panther Dancer to the graveyard, and then he'll take on the name of that. And then the thing about the reason why you do this is because Lunalight Leo Dancer, the main boss monster, says it requires Lunalight Panther Dancer, so it's name specific. So since Kaleido Chick can take on Panther Dancer's name, it makes it a lot easier for you to get Leo Dancer out, because normally beforehand you'd have to get out Cat Dancer, then you'd have to get out Panther Dancer, and then after you got out Panther Dancer you could finally get out Leo Dancer, but that would just take way too long beforehand, and it's just, this deck isn't it can hold out for a while, but it can't hold out for that long. So this card is very helpful. It came out in Circuit Break. It really makes the deck move a lot quicker. So then we got 3 Lunalight Black Sheep. This card is very helpful as well. This one's been out for a while. Basically, it lets you discard itself to then either add a polymerization from your deck to your hand, or 1 Lunalight monster from your graveyard to your hand. You never really use that, the adding the Lunalight from your graveyard to your hand. At least I don't, because you almost always just want to get polymerization as quickly as possible. And then for the next on the lineup, we got 3 Lunalight Blue Cat. This card, it's pretty good. That's an understatement, but it has 2 really good effects. The first one is when it's special summoned, it enables you to double the original attack of any Lunalight monster on the field. So the main thing you kind of want to do with this card is you have your boss monster Leo Dancer out, and then you special summon him by, there's a couple ways you can special summon him. We'll get to those later in the deck. So it's kind of pretty easy. And then you want to special summon him from your hand, and then target Leo Dancer with Blue Cat's effect, and then you can double its attack. So it's 7,000 attack, and Leo Dancer can attack twice. So you just go pop, pop, and then that's game. So it's a pretty good card. And its secondary effect, it's like whenever it's destroyed by battle or card effect, it allows you to special summon another Lunalight monster from the deck, and that's not once per turn. So you can just resummon himself from the deck, and you kind of have like yourself a little wall. And then next on the lineup is 2 Lunalight Crimson Fox. I know a lot of people like to play this at 1. I think that's too little. I'd like to see it a little bit more often than that, because it has 2 pretty good effects. If it's sent to the grave by a card effect, i.e. Foolish Burial or polymerization. Polymerization counts, my bad, because that technically is a card effect. It allows you to target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, and then changes its attack to 0. So that kind of really helps you go for game, because you want to, with like the other Lunalight monsters, like the fusion ones, they can make it so your opponent's monsters can't be destroyed, and you just can attack each one twice. So that's really helpful. And then also, its secondary effect is when a card or effect is activated that targets a Lunalight monster you control, this is a quick effect. You can banish it from the grave, and then negate the activation, and then both players gain 1,000 life points. Which, I mean, it's kind of weird. That's the only card that I see give both player life points, but I mean, it's kind of helpful sometimes. But when it comes to like your Leo Dancer, it can't be targeted anyway, so it doesn't really work for that. But this does help kind of reach for game sometimes. And then next we got 2 Lunalight White Rabbit. This card is actually pretty good. I wouldn't want to see it at 3 because you want other cards, you want other Lunalights, you want your Kaleido chick, you want your black sheep, but you do at least want to see one of these, pretty frequently. This card, when it's normal summon, it lets you special summon a Lunalight from the grave. In addition to that, once per turn, you can target spell trap cards on your opponent's side of the field equal to the number of other Lunalight cards you control, and you can return them back to the hand. So that even counts for, if you have your 2 Pendulum scales, and then you have like a White Rabbit out, you can activate White Rabbit's effect, and then since both your Pendulum scales are going to be Lunalight cards, then you can return up to 2 spell trap cards on your opponent's side of the field to the hand, which that's really good for this deck because this deck is weak to battle traps, like not really Mirror Force, but like Quaking Mirror Force, Blazing Mirror Force, I think that's what it is. Or no, Storming Mirror Force, the one that returns them back to the hand. Those kind of Mirror Forces really kind of hurt the deck. And also you can use it to special summon out Blue Cat. And then next to is Lunalight Purple Butterfly. This card, a lot of people only run one of this card and one of White Rabbit. I don't know why. This card really helps you get that extra damage you need on Leo Dancer to get for game. Because Leo Dancer only has 3,500 attack. So if you attack twice directly, that's 7,000, and your opponent has 8,000 life points, so they're gonna have 1,000 left, and you don't want that. But what Purple Butterfly does is you can send it from the hand or field to the graveyard and target a Lunalight monster you control, and it gains 1,000. So you can target Leo Dancer with this, and then he'll be at 4,500 attack, and you can attack twice. That's 9,000 damage. That's pretty solid. And then also, additionally, you can banish this card from the graveyard and then special summon a Lunalight monster from your hand. So that's also another way to summon Blue Cat and get that that extra damage. But the thing is, Purple Butterfly's effect and Lunalight Blue Cat's effect do not stack, so it's going to be one or the other. Now onto the Pendulums. We got 3 Lunalight Wolf. This is a fusion deck. This is one interesting way to fusion besides just using polymerization. It's the Pendulum effect that you want to use, and its Pendulum effect lets you fusion summon with the monsters on your field and your graveyard. So that's pretty nifty if you can't get your polymerization. It's kind of sometimes easier to just ditch all your cards that you need into the graveyard and then just use this guy, and then bam, you can get your fusion monsters out. In addition to this also has some synergy with Kaleido Chick, because Kaleido Chick, its very last ability is if this card is banished, then your opponent can't activate card effects during your battle phase. So that kind of gets over the battle trap problem. If they have monster cards that say if this card is destroyed by battle, blah, 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 then you can search or special summon another card. It negates that because they can't activate card effects, and it allows you just to be able to safely attack for game. So it's very, very helpful. For the last set of Pendulums, I got 2 Lunalight Tiger. I know people like to run 3. Honestly, I only really run it because, it's good, but I don't want to see it at 3. I want to see Wolf a lot more than I want to see Tiger. But Tiger is, it's another Lunalight you can use for fusion material. It has a decent monster effect because it can, if it's a store by battle or a card effect, you can special summon a Lunalight from the grave. So that's helpful. It's it adds an additional kind of layer of bricks to the wall that you can build if you're kind of out of resources and you're just getting attacked. And also, its Pendulum effect lets you special summon a Lunalight monster from your graveyard, but it can't attack and its effects negated. So really, you only use it for like fusion material, but it's still. But some of the Lunalight monsters have like effects that go off in the grave when they're used for fusion material, so you will still get those effects even despite its effect being negated when it's on the field. So it's still pretty good, but definitely not something you want to see at 3. And then got 2 Astrograph Sorcerer. I know this card might trigger a lot of people because this card is played in I think every single Pendulum Magician deck. It's a very good card because when you pop cards, it allows you to, special summon himself and then search that card that was destroyed and add it to your hand. So that's kind of the same way to use it in Lunalights. If you maybe have a slow start and you don't get all the cards you need, you can just summon your 1 Lunalight monster out, and then if it gets destroyed by battle card effect, you can then if it's a certain Lunalight, you can just get that special summon back if it's like Blue Cat or something. And in addition to that, you can special summon Astrograph Sorcerer out from your hand, and then add the card back to your hand, or add the card that was destroyed from your deck to your hand. So it's pretty nice. And to kind of round up the monsters, we got the Blackwing and Blackwing Gofu, and then a Maxi. Maxi's Maxi. You want to draw as much as possible in this game, and then Gofu. You get your 2 tokens for Gofu. He just kind of helps you get a Decode Talker out, and then if you can get that Decode Talker out, because this deck doesn't really like to link summon because it likes to use all its materials for fusion summoning / you don't really want to be in the game long enough to be able to do a bunch of link summoning because you want to finish off your opponent. But if you can get that Decode Talker out, then you have 2 more zones to say put out like a double Leo Dancer, or like a Leo Dancer and a Cat Dancer or something like that. It's pretty nifty. It sucks it's only at 1. And then obviously, since it's a fusion deck, 3 Polymerization. You're gonna want that card. You're gonna want to see this card as often as possible. Black Sheep helps you see this card. And then this really, really nice card. I like this one. Lunalight Perfume. You want to see it at 3 as well. It's a monster reborn for just this archetype specifically, and a Searcher all in one. So, special summon Lunalight monster in your graveyard, and then you can also banish this card from the graveyard, and then discard a card, and then add a Lunalight monster from your deck to your hand. So, 1, this is another way to special summon Blue Cat, so you can get that double attack on a monster, and allows you to search for any Lunalight card. So, the next card you'll see, it's just kind of like a better version of this next card. So that helps you kind of do a lot of plays and search for cards that you're not seeing in your opening hand. So this next one is Fire Formation Tenki. You want 3 of that because when this card's activated, you can add a 1 level 4 lower Beast Warrior type monster from your deck to your hand. It sucks it's only once per turn, but it's an additional searcher. Most of the Lunalight cards are below level 4 or level 4 or below. Sucky part is Wolf, the Pendulum monster that helps you fusion summon from the graveyard. He is a level 6, so you cannot search him with this, which is why Lunalight Perfume is a little bit better than this, because this lets you search any Lunalight card. But also, Fire Formation Tenki gives all Beast Warrior monsters you control 1,000 attack. So it's a nice little extra boost. And when you have multiple on the field, they stack. So it's pretty nice. 2 Foolish Burial Goods. You want to send Perfume to the grave with this, because, like I said, Perfume, you can banish it and get a search. So if you don't see Perfume in your opening hand, and you get this, then it's like you don't get the graveyard special summoning, but you get basically a search. So it's real nice. And then with the 1-ofs, we got Dark Hole, we got the Foolish Burial, and then we got the Upstart Goblin. Dark Hole, it's board wipe. Board wipes are really helpful, especially when you're going second. If I was willing to shell out $30 for a Raigeki, I would replace the Dark Hole Raigeki. Foolish Burial is a good way to send certain cards to the grave, like Crimson Fox, to get that get that targeting effect that you can target opponent's monster and then turn their attack to 0. So that's really helpful. Or if you're like a monster short for like fusion summoning with Wolf, then you can just pitch one real quick and Foolish Burial, and then you can get out your Leo Dance or whatever. And then Upstart, it just, it's a draw. You want that. And then I only run 2 traps, Solemn Warning, Solemn Strike. Honestly, you don't want to see these that often. I contemplating taking them out of the deck because this is an OTK deck, but sometimes you're not going to be able to pull off the OTK. So then having at least one of these in the hand to kind of help stop your opponent during their plays is kind of helpful, because Lunalights don't really have much to stop the opponent on their turn. So it's very offensive. They're kind of not very defensive deck. So these are good. It sucks when you draw into both of them, because then that just really cripples your combo. So then on to the extra deck. This part's very important. 2 Cat Dancer. Before, you'd have to fusion summon this guy out, and then fusion summon Panther Dancer, and then get your Leo Dancer out. But now you can just kind of honestly just skip Cat Dancer and go straight for the Panther Dancer and Leo Dancer. But this guy is pretty good. It's just any 2 Lunalight monsters. You can't be destroyed by battle. You contribute a Lunalight monster you control, and then this kind of card can attack all your opponent's monsters twice, and the first time that it attacks each monster, it's not destroyed. And then also when it attacks, it inflicts 100 damage to your opponent. So it's kind of interesting little card. It's kind of like a good wall too, because it can't be destroyed by battle, so it's helpful sometimes. And also, this is the only Lunalight fusion that you can special summon from the graveyard. So if this does get destroyed by like card effect, or if you use it for like fusion material or whatever, you can use Perfume or White Rabbit's effect to special summon him back. He's the only Lunalight monster that can do that. Then we have the 2 Panther Dancer. It sucks because this is an ultra rare. This is the most expensive card of the entire deck, and all you really use it for is just to send to the graveyard. But that's just how life works, I suppose. But this guy's pretty good too. 2000 attack, can't be targeted or can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And then it has that thing where this time it's like Cat Dancer, but you don't have to tribute a monster. You can just attack each monster twice. And the first time you would attack, it doesn't get destroyed. So, and then also, if it does destroy your opponent's monster by battle, then it gains I think 200 attack. So it's pretty good, but it's not as good as the next card coming up. So then lastly, you got Lunalight Leo Dancer. He's the main boss guy. You want to get this guy as soon as possible. He is a super rare, so which is a little bit better. But I wish they made the boss monster the ultra rare. That would have made more sense. But it's whatever. 3,500 beater, 3,000 defense. He's a Magic Spectre, can't be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects, and can attack twice. And then after the end of the damage step of the first attack, he has a secondary effect that allows you to destroy all special summon monsters in your opponent's side of the field. So you can attack one monster, do some nice damage, and then blow up your opponent's entire monster field, depending on what deck they play. But usually everyone special summons now, so this is very helpful, and then it helps you go for that second attack per game. Especially if you have the 7,000 attack, then you can, if they have all defense position monsters, they have like one monster, like that's in attack position, you attack that one, get that damage, and then blow up all the special summon defense position monsters, and then attack for game. It's quite nice. This card, it's annoying to get around. It sucks so badly when it gets kaiju'd, but that's just Yu-Gi-Oh! And the last fusion monster is going to be Starving Venom Dragon. It's 2 dark monsters in the field, so it's pretty nice. It allows you to kind of beat over a lot of stuff, because you can take on the attack of one opponent's special summon monster, and then you can also take their effect as well. So this guy can come in clutch. And then this is a Beast Warrior deck, so Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Tiger King, 2 level 4 Beast Warrior monsters. when it's exhaust time, you can set one fire formation spell trap card directly from your deck, so you can get out a Tenki just by bringing them out. That helps you, search. And then also, it's another effect is like a skill drain basically. You can detach it and then negate all other effects of the monsters on the field until like the end of the turn. So that's pretty helpful. I don't really go into him that often because Leo Dancer, you want him as often as possible. But if you're kind of stuck, he's a good option. And then Baguska, because if you open up terribly and you can pull out Baguska, then you can just stall for like 2 turns. So it's pretty nice. Beast Dweller, depending on the matchup, it kind of is helpful to banish one card from your. Negate the activation of opponent's card effects in their graveyard. That's pretty helpful. I honestly, I don't think I've ever gone into them, but I mean, someday there'll be a matchup where I'll need them. Castel to get rid of like problematic cards, because I don't run any spell trap destruction in this, because with Lunalights or Lunalights, you basically just want to ignore spell traps. Diamond Direwolf is another way to get rid of like spell and traps or like problematic monsters. And then Super Quantal, because it's more spell trap removal. It's pretty helpful. There's a lot of level 3s in the deck as well. And then last 2 for the links, Decode Talker and Proxy Dragon. With the go use Proxy Dragon on those 2 tokens, and then get out Decode Talker with Proxy Dragon and Gofu. So it's pretty helpful to get when you get that, and it just kind of helps set you up for a better OTK. So now I'm going to show you some kind of play hands, some test hands, just to kind of see how the deck works and like what your first hand's going to look like. All right, guys, kind of stack this first hand. This is kind of just like a hand that you can really do well with, that that you're gonna want to see often, or something, or hands along these lines. This is just basically to help show you how to actually play the deck and what it kind of just looks like. So, here's your starting hand. You got Polymerization, Purple Butterfly, Kaleido Chick, Black Sheep, and then Tenki. So you got your Searcher, your extra Polymerization in case something happens to this, and then your Kaleido Chick. So remembering that you do want to go second with this deck, so we'll say my opponent's doing all their stuff, and then blah, 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 and then, okay, you're going to draw for turn. Hey, another Black Sheep. All right, that's pretty good. So then you can activate this if you want. Tenki allows you to search whatever level 4 lower beast warrior. So heck, let's just go for Blue Cat. And then your next play is going to want to be to normal summon Kaleido Chick, use its effect to. This is a cost effect too, so even if your opponent negates Kaleido Chick, the card still does go to the graveyard. So you're going to want to pitch Panther Dancer to the grave, and then now Kaleido Chick's name becomes Panther Dancer. And then bam, you're going to want to poly, and then you can just kind of really do whatever you want with these cards. You can use whatever. So good options are to use Black Sheep, because when this is used for fusion material, you can add back one of the fusion materials that was not that card to your hand. So we'll use Black Sheep. We'll use Kaleido Chick from the field, and we'll just use Purple Butterfly. And then that will let us get out a first turn Leo Dancer, but link format, so pretend it kind of goes right there. So we're still not done. Kaleido Chick lets us add back the polymerization from our deck to from our graveyard to our hand if it's used as a fusion material. So that's one back. And then Black Sheep lets us add one of the other fusion materials back. So I'll probably just add back another Kaleido Chick. And then now Purple Butterfly's effect is able to go off. You can banish it from the graveyard, special summon a Lunalight monster from your hand. Well, guess what we have in our hand? Blue Cat. And when this card's special summon, you can double the attack of a Lunalight monster. So we want to activate Purple Butterfly's effect, banish it, special summon Blue Cat out, and then use its effect will go off, target Leo Dancer. Now it's at 7,000 attack, and it can attack twice. So I mean, depending on what kind of board your opponent has, if they have a battle trap, ouch. But if they don't, you're golden. So that's really good. You know, these games last short. If you play well with this deck, the games aren't going to last that long, and that just kind of shows that you did well. But all right, now we're going to switch on to another one with a kind of a different play. All right, guys, this is going to be the second and final hand that I show you that helps to demonstrate how this deck really works. There's really two kind of major plays you want to do using Kaleido Chick with polymerization. There's also using Kaleido Chick without polymerization, and then you have to use Lunalight Wolf. So here's the kind of stacked hand. The main key components is you want Wolf, and then you want Kaleido Chick. You want Wolf. You want Kaleido Chick in every single hand of yours, no matter what. And then these other ones can kind of be whatever, but preferably, since Wolf, you can fusion someone from the graveyard and on the field, but not from your hand. So you want to have another way to be able to ditch a Lunalight card from your hand or your deck to the graves, because you're gonna need a total of 3 monsters to get out Lunalight Leo Dancer. So basically, you know, you're gonna play like we did before, Kaleido Chick. Use Kaleido Chick's effect to ditch the Panther Dancer. So then that's a total of 2 monsters, because you can use, even though that counts as Panther Dancer, you can use the actual Panther Dancer as well. So you can use both of those. So that counts as 2 cards. So you still need one more for on the field or in the graveyard to be able to get out Leo Dancer. So then, since we got, oh, I forgot to draw. So since we're going second, obviously we're going to draw. Oh, Foolish Burial. Okay. So that helps even better. So you can either A, use Black Sheep, use its effect to discard it to the grave, add a poly from your deck to your hand, or you can just, depending if your opponent has a monster out, use Foolish Burial to send Crimson Fox to the grave. When that card gets sent to the grave from a card effect, you can target one card or one monster in your opponent's side of the field, turn its attack to 0. So that just kind of helps you reach for game. So either of those would be good plays. And then since now you have 3 monsters total in the field and on the grave, then you can just activate your Pendulum Scale, Lunalight Wolf, and then do fusion summoning by banishing those 3, and then get out your Leo Dancer. And the good thing about this kind of play is when Kaleido Chick is banished, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated during the battle phase. So then that just helps you safely attack for game. If you can somehow like get out Blue Cat, or if you have Lunalight Purple Butterfly, that helps you definitely get an OTK in just that one turn. Without that, you only get about 7,000 damage, and your opponent's going to have another turn, and then that sucks because sometimes they can just come back with that one lucky draw. But so that's why you want to hit them hard and hit them fast. But overall, I want to thank you guys for watching this. This deck's really fun. I really enjoy this deck. I'm kind of new to doing deck profiles, and I've noticed when a lot of people make their deck profiles, they tell you what's inside the deck, you know, what the contents are, but they don't really do a good explanation of how to play the deck. So like when I would try to learn a new deck, I would watch their deck profiles, I'd make the deck, and I would just be lost as to how they do it. So I wanted to kind of give you guys more of like a in-depth tutorial, like when I show you the cards, like explain more of what they do and how they interact with one another, and then actually do some kind of like play tests or like test hands, kind of maybe stacked hands, so you can actually see what a good hand looks like and how the deck's really meant to be played. So like I said, thanks guys for watching, and I hope to catch you later on another deck profile.